traitor. That's an order!
Obey me so that you can walk away.
There's no crying in baseball!
Oh my God, the quarterback is toast!
Viewers not allowed.
Again? Get up! Oh, Jesus, it's you again. Why did you leave me alone? You have not been outside for over 250 days straight. You have to get out. I'd much rather just stay here, thank you. Well, if we're going to stay inside, at least let me pick out the movie. No, no, no. Don't think I don't know what you're up to with that one. Making me watch that cold, bitter, dark movie, The Gray? Yeah, think it's gonna make me want to take advantage of the sunlight? I don't think so. I'm not going anywhere, and I'm staying right here. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever, man. I'm gonna go get the movie munchies. You know, I've been thinking. Do you think we've been wasting our life? Think of all the time we spent watching movies. Think of all the energy we spent writing reviews. Well, dude, I think you have an infestation problem here. And energy could have been spent doing something a little more productive. What? Dude, would you shut up and get over here? Doing something productive. What if we cured world hunger? Can you cure world hunger? Think about these things now. Shit. I feel like maybe I have a higher calling. I feel like maybe we're meant to do something else. Something great. Solve a real complex world problem. I mean, what if we put our brains together? Well, you know. Stop beating me. They are together. Whatever. And we figured out a way to cure world hunger by finding out a way to digest cellulose. That would solve world hunger right there. Why don't we do that? Oh, I don't know. What do you think? Hello? The hell? More Sour Patch Kids for me. Any of you actually remember this movie? Anacondas was produced in 2004, a sequel to the original, which also sucked ass, but for different reasons I don't have the patience to get into. This one seemed to fly below the radar, was deemed a horrible B-movie, and almost forgotten about. Until I decided to unearth this horrible fossilized poor excuse to reinvent the wheel. That's right, every so often, an inspired filmmaker comes along trying to reinvent or recreate Steven Spielberg's masterpiece, an attempt that I'm guessing film producers had hoped people had forgotten about by now, but come on. Forget about this? Not a fucking chance. It's that damn good. In 1975, as we all know, Jaws stormed the movie theater scene with what I considered the greatest monster movie of all time. And no, not that monster, I mean this monster. It wasn't even technically a monster, it was just a shark. But not just any shark, a monster shark that holds a grudge, chases you, grows to unheard of lengths, but still technically possible, all of which scared the crap out of us thanks to crafty camera work like dolly zooms, camera buoys, and special lenses designed to keep the water droplets off the lens, but only when needed. Fast forward, it's 2004, Dwight Little decides to make a movie based on factory default guidelines from production studios, written of course by Steven Spielberg. Now, I know every movie can't be completely unique, and everyone has to have their unique spin and artistic thumbprint into every project, and everyone's borrowing a little something from every other project. But that begs the question, where's the threshold for where art is created or just reproduced? If Dwight Little took a shit in a jar, is that considered art, or is it just considered shit because, well, it's just more shit? Oh, crap, now I'm referencing Jaws with shit. Fuck, let's just move on. Anacondas, The Hunt for the Blood Orchid. As with Jaws, we get the movie started with some wide-angle shots of the beast's natural habitat, which look pretty decent, and even complete with the first slithering fatality. Already, though, we get a glimpse of our monster, which takes a little bit of the suspense away later on in the movie. I was really looking forward to being on the edge of my seat, waiting to see what this thing actually looked like, but now we know it's probably just a larger than usual snake. We got a good idea of that in Jaws too, but you really didn't know that until you saw it almost halfway through the movie. The purpose of keeping the monster's identity shrouded is that if you're to be drawn into the movie like this, you're going to want your characters to survive, or in some cases die, like we'll find out later. Seeing the monster too early, before you're even introduced to the main characters, gives you an idea of something that they don't already know. That distances you from the characters. During an ominous meeting, Wexel Hall has decided to liquidate Brian and Mitchell's company, having obviously not followed through with all the stakeholders' demands. We're set up here with a strong profit motive rather than just an academic or prestigious one like that of the original. The company appears to be managed by very young adults, so honestly, what the hell were they expecting? Plus, they look like they either just came back from a tanning salon or spring break. Either that, or the opening scene of this movie was filmed after keeping them in the jungle for 18 months. All this fuss now boils down to the hunt for the blood orchid named Perennial Immortalis, which means perennial livelong Addis, and perennial no Jurassicus was obviously taken. Remarkably, ingesting the blood orchid alters cellular DNA to lengthen telomeres in the cell body, which reaches a longer cell life. No mention of the word immortal though, no data or scientific studies were shown, just a strange looking PowerPoint with some Photoshop work, and now they have all the money they need for their expedition. Interesting to note here is that this entire scene was originally shot without anyone wearing glasses, but it started to look like the opening credits to a porno movie. They added the glasses later on to sort of add a bit of sophistication to our characters. Much more subtle, guys. Getting to Borneo was the easy part thanks to the blank check, but no amount of prestigious looking glasses helped the characters do proper research on Borneo weather patterns. Instead, they're forced to charter a boat on the black market because they flew right into the rainy season.
Name's Johnson. Bill Johnson.
Bill Johnson? Are you kidding me? What, was Billy Bob not American enough for you, or was he just not available?
It's a pronunciation thing. And you can rent my boat for 25 grand. Now, you want me to drive it? Well, that'll cost you 50.
50 grand? Are you high?
Billy Bob Johnson, high or not, Gail and the rest of our pseudoscientists decide this expedition is going upriver in the rainy season, but not before we pick up some more tasty hors d'oeuvres for our slithering companions. We're joined by the good doctor and the most annoying character in the film, Cole. He never stops complaining, and the first thing he does upon arrival is motherfucking complain.
Oh man, is that alright?
Nothing gets past this little guy, including the physical state of our new chartered boat, Orca. I mean the Bloody Mary. After properly boarding the ship and checking the manifest, Billy Bob Johnson gives our character some encouragement.
If you need anything, you're shit out of luck.
And finally gets this meat wagon on the move. Upriver. In the rainy season. Dr. Ben turns into a creepy stalker and hits on Sam as if he's been in prison for the last 8 years. And we finally get to where everything in this movie is going wrong. Pay close attention here. Cole's character is intentionally being made out to be one of two polar extremes. Either people relate to him, wondering why go on this stupid expedition in the first place, or people really hate him because he's there to do a job but does nothing but complain. Complains so much that it constantly overshadows the movie and takes established atmosphere and tone away from the scenes the movie are trying to develop. To me, it's like getting slapped in the face the second I might possibly be drawn into this mood. Captain Monotone whips out a map explaining to our expedition that the rainy season is making the rivers unstable and must be taken one bend at a time. That sounds reasonable. I see why they hired him now.
You can't chart the fastest route before you begin.
Already have. Bingo. It's Pad Rang to the Selatan Basin.
Jesus Christ, Cole. That's a bad idea. Computers can't think for us in real time. That's why we hired a guide.
I'll get you there.
What the fuck? Remember this moment.
God help me.
What? Would you rather take a shit in a bucket? Gail's struggling sentiments towards making her a billionaire distracts her long enough to fall into the dirty stream of croc-infested waters. Bill gets to show off some of his survival skills here by killing the croc with his bare hands. And a knife, of course, but that doesn't matter. I don't care if you're Steve Irwin himself. That shit won't happen. But despite having visual confirmation now of Bill's badassness and capabilities, the party still won't listen to a damn word he has to say.
Now what we can do is turn around and try to find another course.
We're gonna have to risk it.
It's gonna cost you an extra $50,000.
Done.
Bill tries to give them their money's worth by offering them some sound, experienced advice, but Jack refuses to listen. Instead, he throws more money at him in order to stoke that moral dilemma furnace started in the very first scene of the movie. Why did they hire this guy? They're not listening to a word he has to say. They're not taking his advice. They're not plotting his courses. Hell, why didn't they just rent the damn boat? Would have been a whole lot cheaper. Just in case you forgot about the moral dilemma of the movie, Gail makes another strange reference about how she likes money more than science. Notice also we're 30 minutes into the movie, and no one is even talking about snakes. We haven't seen any either, unless you want to count that cryptic tug in the water from the dead crocodile. I almost forgot this movie was about anacondas. Oh, and who the hell is driving the damn boat? The captain is sleeping. Didn't he just express how dangerous this could be? Time to suck it up, soldier. Pull an all-nighter.
That's an order!
Now hold on a second. I told you to remember this scene. Why?
Now, under ideal conditions, this is the fastest route. But once we superimpose weather patterns for the past 10 years, and then extrapolate, bingo, it's Pad Rang to the Selatan Basin. I'm a bad man.
Because of this, Cole extrapolates the party over a waterfall into almost certain doom, but still has the nerve to blame the captain, who actually hasn't been allowed to make any damn decisions since the expedition began. Now that our captain is calling the shots, he leads everyone to bushwhack to the jungle to meet up with a very reliable friend, who of course, keeping up with tradition, won't save anyone's life without heaping piles of money.
Probably squeeze you in for, say, $5 grand?
After more belly aching from Cole, I just can't help to notice we're coming close to 50 minutes into the movie, and Bill is showing about as much emotion and engagement as a toad. In fact, Kong, his pet monkey, is showing more emotion than he is. I'm also counting down the minutes when our Cole character finally gets eaten.
Right between Spike and...
Someone just realized this is supposed to be a movie about a snake, not a damn flower, which has actually been stealing the show lately. Christ, I'm expecting to see Little Shop of Horrors more than I'm expecting to see a damn snake. To quickly and cheaply draw you back into the atmosphere, rather than trying anything original, we get our first blatant Jaws reference.
Stop it.
The point here is to put the movie Jaws into your head, hopefully stirring up all those memories you had as a kid watching it for the first time. Immediately following these Jaws references, we get the first snake attack. This is called emotional transference. The last emotion evoked is supposed to spill over into the very next thing you encounter. Honestly, I would have been much happier if Cole was eaten too, because after this attack, he's reading a 10.9 on the holy shit you're annoying meter. This over-the-top freakout is supposed to help you relate to his sense of panic, but it's so overdone, I just want him to shut the fuck up. Even Bill Johnson wants to kill him now. This is where the movie is starting to take a giant shit on itself. All the subtle cues, the camera work, the lighting, the dialogue, the tidbits, and the teasers were all but abandoned for, admittedly great wide-angle establishing shots of the forest, the waterfall, and the rivers. Now we're just buggling along through the second half of the movie. Literally. We're coming close to an hour into the movie now. We haven't had any I'm a jungle rat ranger survival shots, but we have about 24 of them on deck, so let's get a couple out now just for shits and giggles. Meanwhile, Livingston, our reliable little Care Bear, gets eaten by another anaconda. Now hence the title of the movie, Anacondas. Yet we're over halfway through the movie and this is only the second one we've seen. At this point, I'm also assuming these anacondas have a personal vendetta against human. There's no rhyme or reason to attack Livingston when there's a jungle full of other animals that take up your pent-up slithering aggression on. Or it could be he was just in the wrong place at the right time. Or just, whatever, fuck it, let's just keep watching this shit snowball grow. Mourning the death of Livingston, Tran can't help to notice some fish heads on the riverbank. This obvious deduction here is headhunters. Right? A rapper. That could only mean one thing. There are dentists nearby. The more pressing issue here, for Cole at least, is now they're seeking out the headhunters to ransack their village for boats and supplies. On the way, we find Livingston didn't quite agree with our bulimic anacondas. Look at Johnson's face. Jesus, even when he's supposed to be shocked, it's like he's trying not to. Come on, John, you don't have to be a badass all the time. After Bill explains to everyone they're being eaten because now they've crossed paths with hundreds of horny anacondas, and Cole gets even more screen time doing what he does best, they make their way to the abandoned headhunter village and prepare to loot the town for raft material.
Man, do that in my neighborhood, that's your ass.
Really, Cole? Tearing down someone's house might have consequences. What neighborhood might you be living in? Jack quickly turns into a money-hungry lunatic and kills my potentially second favorite character of the film, who has the most opportunity to develop, but, you know, fuck that shit apparently. Throw in some shirtless John Mesner audition shots for future films instead. We finally see Billy Bob Johnson was in some special forces unit, towing the line in what's considered right or technically wrong for all the right reasons. Ethical dilemma of the movie firmly established. Thanks. Following Jack's mental breakdown, Sam goes through a 0 to 60 transformation, taking charge of our leftovers. Survivors. After finding the raft missing, leading them all to a dark cave full of waist-deep water.
If there's a way in, there's a way out.
Yeah, usually the way you came in. Take note, Cole has managed to survive over 3/4 of the movie so far, even sacrificing my potentially favorite character, Tren. So underutilized. Anyway, Sam goes psycho in the snake, leading up to what looks like Cole's final moments. Literally without missing a beat, they chase after Cole and the snake to find...
What the fuck? Get off me!
Fuck, are you kidding me? Yeah, Cole is still alive. I am very much looking forward to more annoying over-the-top dialogue. They make it to the Blood Orchid and all hell breaks loose. People start falling into the snake orgy, gunshots, gasoline.
Hey! Over here, bitch!
Can you seriously blame the snakes at this point? A gun-toting lunatic, a screaming maniac, fall from the sky like a 102mm howitzer right when you're trying to make whoopie pies? See how you handle the situation. In the end, every character gets their turn at becoming a badass, and our badass is still the badass, leaving our snakes to suffocate while trying to make baby snakes. The Blood Orchid is never recovered, no one learned anything, and anyone who did is dead. Happy endings, right? Wrong. Let's do this. How do I sum up a movie like this? I know I'm being overly harsh, and I know I'm taking nostalgia points away from this movie and giving them right back to Jaws, but it makes it that much harder for me to separate the two, and that much easier for me to nitpick between the two, when the movie is blatantly trying to draw off your emotional memory of these classical movies. They apparently had a really good budget for those nice wide-angle shots, and they had plenty of establishing shots of the rivers and the waterfalls and the jungle. But it was blatantly obvious that they just fell short of filling the world that they just created with content. Potential characters were erased from the movie before they even had a chance to develop into anything interesting. Take for instance Morgan. Having set his eyes on being filthy rich, just when he starts to turn the corner, all hope seems to be lost. People are dying at an incredibly fast pace. He gets wiped off the face of the earth of the movie. Now there is nothing to be made of his character arc. Now take for instance Tran, our humble little helmsman. He seems to know a lot about the jungle, and just at the end of the movie, when he starts to turn a corner, we get a glimpse into just how badass he could be when he starts to help Cole through the cave, but rather than turn him completely around into that badass, guess what they do? Boom, they erase him from the movie, nothing to be made of this character. In fact, the most annoying character in the movie, Cole, manages to survive throughout the entire film. He doesn't change, he just goes on complaining right to the very end. Now the CGI in this movie might be the worst, and it brings out the question, when is CGI appropriate? It's a simple formula. CGI is almost never appropriate for anything organic. The technology just isn't there yet. However, if it's inorganic or metal or a material that we haven't yet discovered in a sci-fi movie, then it always seems to work. It just seems to pop out better than a miniature or something like that. However, the practical effects of a live creature in 1975 look a hell of a lot better than the CGI effects in this 2004 movie, and that says a lot. Now, I'm getting off on a tangent, so let's just wrap this up. This movie is a solid C-, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't watch it. In my opinion, there is no such thing as a bad movie. Even a bad movie can be really entertaining. So, pick it up and watch it, but don't expect anything thought-provoking or, intuitive or groundbreaking and original. If you want to see something like that, stay with Jaws. It's a great movie and holds up even today. Richard Dingo, signing out for the Army Corps.